Hi. So, welcome to March. Whenever you're listening to this, this is the energy of when I'm recording. So this is so ironic, and I'm just laughing about it. This is a good way to deal when things don't go the way you plan, like have a good laugh about it. So I was intending to talk about being scrappy and messy, and I had a bunch of examples from my life and business I was going to reference, and I hit record and I recorded in my recording software. And at the 26-minute mark, the software tells me, oh, your browser doesn't have space. And it essentially didn't record anything. I did have a backup audio transcript going, but well, no recording. So no episode. So here we go again. I want you to use this episode as a way to reflect on when things didn't go the way it planned, or things feel like you're trying to move forward and feels messy, scrappy, or you can't quite seem to get it organized or planned right, but you still want to keep moving forward. And even though parts of you want to stay where you're at, I hope that you can journey with me emotionally, mentally through this episode and take some of those examples and process it is my intention, where I've been processing a lot of that myself. I'm a deep feeler, a deep thinker. I contemplate a lot. I can easily go into overthinking a decision or something I want to do or something that happened. And so between that and having a high bar for myself, which can tend to turn into perfectionism, and um, it's extra conditioned by my strong academic background, where I've been a high achiever. I've been a high achiever my whole life and actually got really good at getting things done well. As a consultant, you kind of have to have all your stuff buttoned up, and it's all perfect and ready to go, and you've thought 10 steps ahead of the client and you have that ready to go as well. And I guess I'm in the season where I'm really learning that in my business, when I have limited bandwidth and I cannot be perfect, this is a um one woman show, and I intend to call in even more support to make this magic happen with you all, to support my clients even better, to support myself even more. But things are going to not be perfect. And can I live with that? Can I deal with the embarrassment that comes with not having a website perfectly set up, or something being clunky, or a message not quite landing, or an offering that I said would be ready by X date, but it's now going to be ready at Y date, and who knows? And I don't love doing that because I care about the experience for my clients. And so this will be a journey of me naming. I think this is the first principle I want you to take away is the practice of being aware of naming. I'll take a moment to adjust my crown because it's starting to slide on my hair. um, okay, I think it's better now. But I think the first step is to really name what's happening. Where are you feeling stuck? Where is there like an emotional holding you back, and naming that emotion even is so powerful. Maybe it's anger at yourself for not getting something done or not getting it right. Maybe there's a multitude of emotions. It's sadness about it not happening or you not having done something. Maybe there's guilt, and maybe it's gone all the way into what I call the insidious hall of shame. And I've been talking about this more on my email newsletter. If you're not on my soul friend list, I invite you to opt into my weekly Akashic Insights. And there'll be a link in the show notes, or wherever you can see a description below, wherever you're tuning into this. Okay. And so, with that, with my hair reasonably adjusted for right now, I continue to talk about this practice of naming. Can you name? Can you be so aware? And can you be so present many times when we are feeling stuck? around something, it's because there's a part of us that is protecting us from feeling even worse or hard to feel or difficult to feel feelings, sensations in our body. For me, it's often when I'm starting to feel this like, oh, this is embarrassing and this is going to feel not ideal. And what if the other person rejects or misunderstands me? That's when I start to be like, oh, let's stay here. And perhaps you can relate to that. So I invite you to name that right now with me. Like I'm naming, I'm naming, I just had a recording fail. I'm at least able to correct that and record with you all. But I have also so many other places in my business where things are imperfect. I just mentioned my Akashic Insights, um, weekly insights that I send out. And I will say there's a group of you that receive it, and there's a group of you on my newsletter who don't. And because I haven't been able to get to this place where I can upload the next set of Akashic insights. And I have been procrastinating and pushing it and trying to find this is the week I'll get it done. And I've started and I've stopped. And it's like, well, this is where you get to decide once you name. Like, is this something that you need to make happen no matter what, and it needs to happen soon? In which case, what systems? And this is where don't put pressure on just yourself to make it happen. I made this mistake for far too long is something wasn't happening. Most likely I needed to get something done, but I was stuck in my hall of shame, let's call it, and I wasn't ready to move forward. And this is where it was an invitation for me to ask for help. Maybe it's an accountability partner, a friend, a family member. I mean, sometimes even my daughter. Can you delegate it? Can you ask somebody to help you? Can you give some piece of it to someone? I'll say the most common place this has come up is when I've had a like felt stuck around decluttering or organizing a space. And then when I've gotten help, it's just magic. Like, how did you just get that done? And I can tell they don't have the same emotional baggage that I do. Like, not only am I feeling heavy about space being messy, but also now I've added it to my hall of shame. Literally, this analogy seems to be what I need to keep talking about. It's like, and now there's shame tied into it. And I'm just like, it's even harder to walk out of that shame closet and get to, oh, I just need to take one step and then another, which brings me to principle three. We talked about naming it, being aware of it. Two, can you get help in any way? Can you outsource it? Can you talk through it with someone? Can you get accountability? You do need a little bit of pressure and a nudge, and it can be pressure on you or giving that pressure, if you will, to someone else. Principle number three is baby steps. How small can you break this down? How little can you like, I'll take one step? And especially if it's something that's very creative and open ended. I was reading a newsletter recently that I really appreciated how they were using this analogy of some tasks are like frying a fish. You can time it like I mean, I don't fry fish very often. It's like once a year phenomena in my life at most. But you season it and you put it on the pan and you fry one side 4 minutes, flip it, fry it, and it's done. Like it's a very contained task that you can track and get done. And then there are tasks that are more like catching a fish. And credit to, I wish I could remember the newsletter I read this in, but it made a lot of sense to me. Catching a fish. Now you can be prepared and have all the right setup, but you have to wait for the fish to be there. And then it's a game of luck whether you're able to actually catch the fish or it escapes your fishing rod. I do not fish, so I don't know if I can use all the right terminology here, but some of these tasks are very open ended and creative. And then you commit to giving it a block of time. And that's what I've had to do time and time again as I've been getting ready for a really exciting summit. If you've not heard already, I'm speaking at Ruth Soulful Sales Summit that's coming up March 9th to 12th. I'll have a link below to sign up. It's my affiliate link if you choose to upgrade and have lifetime access to all of the talks. And I'm speaking about how to keep your sales energy going even when no one is buying, which is very much born from a place of experience as I slowed down my business in the last year, but also based on a lot of magical channeled messages around this from various like client sessions and as well as channelings for myself that I think have really lent itself well to a framework of how can you energetically and practically work with a quiet season in your business. So with that plug, I have to say it has really tested me in terms of doing tasks that I thought were frying a fish, but actually were more like catching a fish. And then here's what I mean. Um, I'll give you some real examples. I'm a sponsor for the summit, and so I'm offering one of my courses, your business reconnection ritual toolkit. It's like these bite-sized meditative and journaling practices to really rebuild trust in your business. So connected to this concept of keeping your sales energy going is really keeping that energy of trust in your relationship with the entity that is your business. Can apply to so many things in your life, like goals, intentions, or manifestations. And I realized, oh, I have that. My talk needs a companion guide. Oh, I'm going to also offer them this GPT that I've built. And then if you upgrade to the all access sales booster bundle, then you get access to another course of mine, my future self CEO activation. So as I rattle off all of this, one, it's like this generous gift basket that I'm offering to you all as part of the summit. So I highly recommend you be there. Two, oh my gosh, the amount of backend setup I needed to do. I consider myself tech savvy and I was overwhelmed. And yes, linear tasks are hard for my brain. And yes, I was overwhelmed. And I remember sitting down and here's my block. Let me get this done. And things, half of it would get done, or I would get stuck somewhere because I didn't figure out, oh, how do I connect this? Or yeah, just, oh, I need to build an image here. And then, oh, let me be in this creative project. And, oh, I need to build. I recorded my talk and realized, oh, I have so much more I want to cover. I need to have a guide. And so I started to create that PDF in Canva and all the things. They all spiraled in a way. And I had to make all these micro decisions like, how much do I do here? And I could not define how much time it would take. And so it started to put me in this place of this is taking so much longer. And now I can't get to this other thing in my business. And oh my God, can I be a good like business person if I can't even set up these few things? Like it's easy to go to these places of, blaming yourself when things are not happening or things are taking longer or whatever may be true for where you're feeling stuck might be just anger or sadness, shame in other ways that you let something happen. Like, like I should have had more help already here. And I actually did name this with the multiple practitioners and coaches and healers I work with. And oh my God, it was, um, yeah, including Ruth, including talking to her about her own summit, and I'm struggling. And I did that powerful first step, which is I named where I'm feeling stuck. And I came to the second step is maybe there's accountability or a deadline. But I think another way I would name my second principle is like, how can you shift your environment? And environment means what are you telling yourself to, how can you set yourself up better? Is there different blocks you can create for yourself? Is there accountability partner? Is there um like I had to shift my milestones out and say this is not happening now, I need another week, and there's even still some more summit setup things that are happening even a week before. And I'm like, all right, what is the minimum amount I need to do now, and then I'm going to push the rest out. And I'm balancing this alongside a lot of other things as a person with limited bandwidth across many aspects of her life. That's okay. That's okay. I think this brings me to principle 4, which is how can you accept? Can you accept maybe this is not going to get done or this is not going to happen for this period right now at this moment? Maybe it means letting go of the dream altogether. And I name that with a lot of care and compassion because it is very hard to let go of something that you may have held a lot of energy and hope around, is what I want to say. It is hard. It is human to attach. It is such a human thing to say, I really want this, I desire this, and to attach to something is such a human relational concept, something that AI can't do as much as it can be a cool thought partner. It is not a relational being that forms energy, like forms these energetic cords with something. And when we are trying to manifest something or make something happen, it's like there are these cords and they're clinging with like with all their might and trying to draw something closer. That's it's a way to make something happen, but it's very energetically draining. And isn't it cool if you're like, I'm just going to lasso this and then I'm going to let it float towards me and allow the universe to push it a bit closer. And so it's almost like how can you loosen your deathly grip on something and making something happen at a time in a way? It's back to spirituality likes to talk about surrender and giving up control. And I think there's a place for both. It's like all things duality, this it's two sides of the same coin. Like there's control and there's letting go. And how can you do a bit of both? There are aspects of what you're trying to make happen or connect with, and it's feeling hard. And you focus on what you can control. You can control your environment, you can control your decisions and thoughts as much as you can. You have to also embrace what you have to let go of control around, which may be you still feel extremely sad about it that it's not happening or not happened. I know I've certainly felt that and have had to grieve business milestones that never happened, or that I had to slow my business down. And then looking at my business numbers at the end of the year for tax season was not easy. And I had to sit with the emotion of that. And that is a way of accepting, is a combination of looking at what you can control and looking at what you need to let go of. And maybe there's a higher perspective around it all. And that's where I find pulling an oracle card or journaling or tuning into a message can just pull you out of the stuckness of the now into maybe what might be a better story to tell around it all. That's also part of acceptance is, can you at least tell yourself a different story? Maybe it is deluding yourself. I'm not sure, but I find it is powerful to tell yourself a different story. And so maybe I invite you to find a journal or talk yourself through and really take yourself through these principles. Can you really name what's happening around something you're stuck around? And really, if that means you have to be with the emotion for a bit, that is okay. See if you can start to get help to shift. Some of these things you still need to keep moving. Life needs to happen. Things need to get done. Um, there are things which are either financial or home related or parenting related where I'm like, well, it still needs to keep happening. Maybe I can get some extra help, or maybe I can ask my husband for help, or maybe I can talk it through with my friends and someone knows how to do something. Um, there's like delegating, there's accountability, there's creating some pressure around setting a deadline for yourself, defining a new time block. I think the third principle is, can you break it down into baby steps and really recognizing, is this something where you can say I can get this done in an hour, or it's like I'm going to commit to an hour to make progress on it. The concept of baby steps and accepting and balancing control and surrender, I think would be the four to think about. So here's another example you will see, and hopefully I might clean this up by the time you look at it, but I have set the intention to have a live session workshop in um, the coming 2 weeks, likely right after the summit. I'm targeting March 13th at noon Pacific right now. And I just made this decision. I had been sitting on making the decision for a while, like, when can I realistically do this in the busyness of my life? And I, at the same time, I'm like, well, I need to invite people who are opting into the summit sooner rather than later. So I created my um, free business reconnection toolkit page. And then as soon as you opt into that, it takes you to a page where, hey, I'm going to be doing this workshop soon and details to land. And then there's a timer, but it doesn't really count towards anything because I didn't define the date. And there's actually like some placeholder text even below that if you choose to scroll down, which doesn't make sense on the page. And I just like, I didn't decide, and yet I wanted to keep moving forward, and I kept doing it. I could have cleaned up the page a bit more. That is on me. But here I am being scrappy and messy. Um, Another example also to tell you how you can keep moving even when things are not perfect. Like I've had the intention to revise my messaging and I've done parts of it, but parts of it I'm still like, I haven't had time. And so we'll keep moving with what we have. So you'll see it show up on my business homepage, which is nikkijoshi.com. But it it's not yet, oh yeah, and then once you get into my website, it flows into all of these offerings perfectly. It does not. If anything, my offering page even had a sale from a few weeks ago, and I had closed the sale down, but I hadn't updated all the links to either the revised prices. I just like closed the link. And so no one could even buy from me, even if they wanted the offer, which I don't think is the best business practice. But here I was being scrappy, messy, and also a little bit like, I think I was also stuck in my hall of shame that, okay, I didn't get to it. And now I'm feeling even more ashamed that I didn't get to it. And now how do I promote it? Which was then feeding into an intention where I wanted to reach out to past clients, like gradually, just taking a moment to celebrate, which is another principle I want to speak to, which is acknowledging those baby steps you take. I did make a decision around opening up one-on-one session spots. There are so many decisions that go into that. And I also shifted platform. So you see that on my site. But I decided on when I have availability and when I have session availability. And now it's time to not only let you all know, which know that if you're a previous client of mine, I have these set up as broader intuitive sessions. But if there are specific modalities, you can certainly request that, whether it be human design or Akashic records, past lives, astrology, and more. And I'm still sitting on, do I want to split out the pathways more? Do I want to make my human design offering, like a human design session, be separate from an Akashic one? I like blending it all with clients. I like hopping from one to the other, maybe from one session to the next if you buy a package. But I'm figuring some of this out. And so I meant to reach out to previous clients and say, hey, like this is open. And I have felt so stuck. Like I can feel it in my heart. I've just been like, and I've realized the biggest thing that has made me feel stuck around it is that I haven't done a good job of staying in touch. I have let excuses, but also just life's been busy and priorities had shifted. And now I feel like I may not be the best practitioner if I've not perfectly kept in touch. And now I'm reaching out to you after a while. It feels hard in my body to do that. And as I sat with that, and I was even recording version one of this episode, I realized like, oh, what if I talk about this and name it, and one of you who's I was meaning to reach out to it last week and I didn't actually reaches out to me. How fun would that be? And how much easier would that be? Could I let that be a possibility? And just telling yourself, I guess one, celebrating is principle five, but principle six is, can you let it be easy? Can you let things come to you? Can you let yourself receive? does it have to be you doing? And I have chills as I say that. I think this is where I approach things in this very old school masculine, maybe even wounded masculine. Like, I have to do it all. I'm responsible. I have to control. And I think learning to appreciate that there's energy around us, like our spirit guides, as I name my unseen power. You may have different language around that. Like, they're always there. They're supporting me. I believe and trust it because I've allowed myself to be open and gathered a lot of evidence for myself. And I'd love for you to be open to the possibility too, with whatever level of trust you have in the energies around you or yourself. It doesn't have to be this thing you get too perfect about. And what I mean by that is, don't start to question and doubt just because I didn't believe enough in what could be possible. That's why it's not happening yet. Easy to bring perfectionism and all other masculine, wounded masculine things into spirituality, into things that are more flowy and feminine and energetic and unseen. And that is not what I'm inviting you to do. Um, I hope you can receive that. And I hope you can work with these principles. I shared all of these as guidelines, and maybe you play with one of them, maybe you play with all of them. I'm even checking with my own guides, like, is there a structure to this? No, I think different practices will speak to you depending on where you're at with this journey. Maybe it's a mix of, I need to acknowledge my emotions and stuckness now, and I need to celebrate the progress I've made. Or I'm tired of this and I need to figure out next step and what's the next environment change I can do. Maybe it is defining a time block, maybe it's asking for help, or maybe it's talking it through with someone to figure out how can I do it from here. And that someone could also be an AI like Gemini or ChatGPT, Claude, or Perplexity. There's so many options we have these days, but it can be such a good mirror when you talk it through and it structures your thoughts. And then you get to listen to your body and your intuition and your decision making power to decide what needs to happen next. You're not outsourcing that. You're just using a tool that can help you structure your thinking and then give you ideas for you to respond to. So, with that, I think I feel quite complete with this episode. I want to close with another reminder and invitation that the Soulful Sales Summit registrations are open. I'd love to see you there for my talk and connect with you through that, whether you're new or have been in my world for a long time. I so appreciate you. And I hope that you can receive so much. Ruth has many other talented speakers, and I have poured a lot into the summit that's coming up. It is special time. I think it's very cool to use the astrological close of the year, that is Pisces season, in this 1 year before we step into Aries and initiation and new beginnings. So use this closing energy to really recalibrate using whatever's available in the summit, whether it's my talk or someone else's talk that speaks to you and helps you. Um, and please partake in all the gifts that I have to offer. And if you want to go deeper, know that I have one on one sessions open now. So you can explore all of that on my site, nikkijoshi.com and /soul dash offerings. Um, yeah. Thank you so much for listening, and fingers crossed that this recording is all good. And if so, you will be able to see this or listen to this. I'm sending you so much love and gratitude. Thank you for being here.